You're on CYInterview.
I'm Chris Yanek. Today on CYInterview, the Winter Olympics are just days away in Beijing, China. Focusing on the sport of ice dancing, CYInterview welcomes the American ice dancing team of Kaitlin Hawayek and Jean-Luc Baker. This will be their first Winter Olympics. Thank you guys for joining us on CYInterview today. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for being on today. So just to begin, Olympians spend many years to get to the moment for a few minutes of Olympic competition. Can you both describe what the last 10 years have been like for both of you to get to this point and what it means? Kaitlin, go ahead first.
It's very hard to put into words 10 years of a partnership, but I think the best way I can describe it is very windy road. Jean-Luc and I, we haven't had a very straightforward career in terms of just, it hasn't come without little bumps along the road and injuries and things like that. So for us, I think that qualifying these past few weeks for the Olympic Games has just stood for the amount of resilience that we've proven to ourselves. And I think both of us just feel an immense amount of pride and appreciation for one another in just the amount that we've committed to our work.
John?
Yeah, I mean, like Kaitlin said, it's hard to put into words for the past 10 years, but I think that you mentioned like we trained so much for a few moments on the ice at the Olympic Games. I mean, it's so funny when you say it like that because, I mean, it's true. We spend years and years and years for just a couple moments, but those moments are the ones that I know that we're going to remember forever. Like our performance at U.S. Nationals, we have select performances where it's just we create moments, and regardless of result, walking away from it, we're never, ever going to forget those moments. And I think that just being able to create more of those, particularly even on the world's biggest stage, we're just so excited and we can't wait for the opportunity.
Now that you guys are officially going to the Winter Olympics, have you both thought about the type of performance you want to give the judges in Beijing, China?
I think for us, it's even more than just the judges. We don't perform to get a score or to get a mark per se, although we aim to get the best marks and scores that we can possibly get. Our focus goes into making a moment and making an impression, and that doesn't come just from the judges. It comes from everybody in the audience, both physically and virtually. And for us, Jean-Luc always says it perfectly. We hope that our skating can stand for a moment where people can just kind of put all their worries aside and take a moment to just get lost in 4 minutes of skating and not think about what they have to focus on that day or that week or anything that's going on in their lives, and just a little bit of a reset and a moment just to appreciate art. And for us, art is kind of the foundation of our skating. And even though we know we are athletes, we are first and foremost artists. So we pour a lot of emotion and heart into our skating, and I think more than anything, we hope that on the biggest stage in the world, being the Olympics, that can just be perceived, hopefully, by a larger audience.
John?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like Kaitlin said it great again. I mean, I think for us, we always aim to be the best versions of ourselves, and we want to win. I mean, we would not be doing this day in, day out if we didn't want to win. It's grueling work. It's ups and downs. It's such high emotions, such low emotions. But I think that Kaitlin hit the nail right on the head with that. I mean, we just want to find the best way we can connect with everybody. I mean, from the moments of when we were younger and we were watching the 2006 or 2010 Olympic Games on the TV and just watching in awe of like, oh my gosh, like I want that. Like I want to be able to have everybody pause their lives, not to pause their lives, but I mean, I think just to have the ability to connect and to inspire and to give hope. And when you watch a movie and you just get so into it, you just can't help but love what you're seeing. We strive for that. We feel these moments when we're skating and performing, and we just hope that other people can join us on our journey and be a part of our emotions that we're feeling as well.
I think you guys have both explained this already, but just quickly, I'm sure every Olympian wants to get to that medal podium at least, but I feel like you both are basically saying that you've already won no matter what happens at the Olympics. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's a really eloquent way to put it. I think that I think we will feel like we've won. We already feel like we've won because of the fact that we have the opportunity to represent the U.S. on the Olympic stage. But in terms of our performance, I think that results aside, because we're very aware that in a judged sport, there's only a certain level that you can control, and with that comes our skating. So when we put all of our focus into the controllables being our skating, the thing that we want to, that we feel like would make us feel like we've won is just by moving people and creating moments. So yeah, I think that we definitely feel like we accomplished that in our previous competition that qualified us for the games. So I think if we can just continue to build upon that momentum and that feeling, and not try to recreate anything, but hopefully create new moments to that same level, we will absolutely feel like we've won.
John?
Yeah, I think like Kaitlin said, again, I just keep repeating exactly what she says, but she's killing it on the answers. But she mentioned like just not recreating. To recreate an emotion and a feeling that we're going to have is going to be almost impossible. So I think that we're just really going into this experience knowing, one, it's different being a COVID year, but also we don't have any expectations because it is our first Olympics. So we just want to really be able to enjoy and take in every moment on that Olympic stage and hopefully just connect with each other and with the audience and with everybody at home and recognize how much they've helped us get to this point, and we're still pushing and we're still growing and all of these different things. So we're just, again, so thrilled to be part of Team USA at this Olympic Games.
Okay, just a few more. But for those who are watching the Olympics and are introduced to you both for the first time, what do you want viewers to know about you?
I hope that I guess one thing that I would love for the viewers to know about ourselves is that we are that we're very versatile skaters and that we love to tap into all of the emotions of humanity, whether that's nostalgia and bliss and joy like we hope that people have received from our free dance this year, or we love to play with humor and give people a laugh. And I think that that's something that's very authentic to ourselves because we don't like to be robots when we skate and we bring our own emotions into our skating. So I hope people will be able to tell when they are introduced to us that that we have a wide variety to bring to the table.
John?
I want everybody to see when they are introduced to us that we are just not trying to be, but just comfortable with who we are, and that everybody is kind of enough. I think that there's a lot of roles, a lot of expectations, whether it be social media, whether it be in a judged sport, whether it be in a workplace, and you're trying to fill it. And something that Kaitlin and I always strive towards is just trying to be the most authentic versions of ourselves and being okay with that. Because at the end of the day, like that's, again, what we can control, and it's who we are down to our roots of nature and everything. So I think for us, like for me particularly, if like people can see us and they can just see that we are, like they can see me and they can see Kaitlin for who we are, I think that would be such a cool thing, because I just don't think many people have the opportunity to be on the world's biggest stage and to show that, and also to show the uncomfortable, but that vulnerability of being comfortable with yourself. It's not easy, but I think once you can get past that and you can kind of just feel who you are and try to stay as true to yourself as you are, like, it's just, the opportunities are endless.
Though CYInterview reaches people all around the world, we are based here in Las Vegas, and our Las Vegas' fastest growing media outlet. So what was it like for both of you to perform at the U.S. National Figure Skating Championships a few months ago back here in the entertainment capital of the world?
You know, we actually, within a course of about 3 or 4 months, 3 months last year, we competed in Las Vegas twice. And they were I can absolutely say with certainty, they were the most unique competitions we've ever been to. The first competitions that we had ever done in a pandemic world. So there were a lot of differences, some unfamiliar and slightly uncomfortable, but they really pushed ourselves to see that we could compete in any setting, in any circumstance. One thing in hindsight I wish we could have had an experience with is to compete with an audience in Las Vegas, just because I've heard that the audiences in Las Vegas are some of the best in the world that you could possibly have. So I really hope we get another opportunity to perform in Las Vegas with an audience. But in general, I look back at them with those competitions with great fondness because of the amount of effort that both U.S. figure skating and just the Las Vegas volunteers and the Orleans Arena staff put into making the competitions possible. So I really look back at those competitions just with a lot of gratitude and appreciation that we were allowed to keep doing what we love to do.
Sean?
Yeah, I mean, being able to compete in Las Vegas was so cool. I mean, we were lucky enough to be able to still do what we love and chase our dreams during a pandemic, and they were able to make it as safe as possible to what they could have before people were even getting vaccinations. So the people there, I mean, like Kaitlin mentioned, we didn't have an audience when we were competing there the 2 times. So I think that being able to go back and compete with an audience there would be really cool. We had cardboard cutouts and fake applause, but that's okay. You know, like, it was still pretty fun. Like she mentioned, there were some different things about competing there, like staring at a bunch of eyes that are static was pretty weird and no one was blinking. But again, like, I think having the opportunity to compete there with an audience would be awesome. And like, also maybe post-COVID or when things lighten up a little bit, I think being able to go there and like check out the strip, like we were bubbled in just the Orleans Arena and the hotel. So it would be cool to go experience a little bit of Vegas. I know you guys have some of the best restaurants. I'm a huge foodie, so I would love to go check some of those out. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd say to you both in closing, thanks for coming. I live right down the road from all of that, and I have to tell you that you point to something that a lot of people don't point out. Of course, it's the entertainment capital of the world. It is also one of the great cuisine capitals of the world. There are restaurants from some of the greatest chefs in the world, and they're all here on and off the Strip as well, which is something that people learn as they visit Las Vegas more often. And absolutely one other thing, it's becoming also the shopping capital of the world. There are just so many things to do here in Las Vegas, and glad that you guys had 2 great performances, even though you weren't in front of an audience. And figure skating and ice skating and everything on the ring is continuing to grow here, obviously. So for Kaitlin Hawayek and Jean-Luc Baker, they will be competing in the ice dancing sport at the Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. Finally, guys, anything you both want to add?
I guess the last thing that I would add is to thank you to anyone who has a mutual love and appreciation for figure skating. I hope we can continue to grow the audience and the maybe the outreach for figure skating as a sport, because I think it has so much to offer. It's not only an athlete or an athletic sport, but it's also a performing art, and I think that it combines so many different facets of what people love, whether that's music, movement, dance, athleticism. So yeah, so I really hope that maybe people who are listening to this, that they might be a little bit more intrigued or interested to see figure skating as the well-rounded sport that it is.
Sean?
Yeah, I'd just like to add, let's go Team USA.
So for Kaitlin Hawayek and Jean-Luc Baker and CYInterview, I'm Chris Shandik.